Hello everyone, we are starting a new unit about syntax. The goal of syntax is to describe the relationship between. So we are going to see the difference between a word, a phrase, a clause, and a sentence. A word is the union of sound its written representation and meaning. And there are lexical categories: noun, verbs, prepositions, adjectives, adverbs. And here you have some examples. Dictionary is a noun, read is a verb, at is a preposition, complete is an adjective, and completely is the adverb. A phrase is a group of words that act or function as a part of a speech, but cannot stand alone as a sentence. Why? Because they don't have a subject and a verb. They are a unit, but they cannot stand alone. Their meaning is partial. They cannot convey complete meaning. And each lexical category has a phrase category. So you can have noun phrases, for example, the house, verb phrases, for example, has been built, prepositional phrases, in the outskirts of the city, adjectival phrases, ready to be inhabited, and adverbial phrases, in the outskirts of the city. So, in the outskirts of the city is an adverbial phrase in function, but a prepositional phrase in structure, because it begins with the preposition in. A clause is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate. Independent clauses express a complete thought and can stand alone as a sentence. For example, I am recording a tutorial video. A subordinate clause depends on another sentence to express a complete thought. For example, I was sitting at home while somebody knocked at the door. I was sitting at home is an independent clause. But when somebody knocked at the door is a subordinate clause because it needs the independent clause to complete the meaning. A complete sentence has a subject and a predicate. For example, you ate fish. And it can be an independent clause. There are complex sentences that have more than one clause that are joined by conjunctions such as and, but, or. I like pizza, but I hate spaghetti. Here we have another example written on the slide. He went out to dinner, but he didn't enjoy the meal. So, in this example, you see that there are two independent clauses. He went out to dinner. he didn't enjoy the meal. They are combined or joined by the conjunction but. As we have already said, a sentence expresses the complete thought. It has a subject and a predicate. And there are different types of sentences: simple, compound, and complex. Some examples. A simple sentence has one independent clause. Tom reads novels. Tom reads newspapers. Tom reads novels and newspapers. Tom reads and enjoys novels. Tom and Harry read novels. Tom and Harry read and enjoy novels and newspapers. Between brackets, there is an explanation. Yes, if you have a compound, more than one direct object. Of course, this is a quick introduction to the topic. However, pay attention. We are going to do some practice. Phrases, clauses, and sentences look alike at first, but they function in a different way. So it is very important if you can identify them. You can read different materials, identify the phrases, clauses, and the complete sentences, and then you try and write your own examples. That is very important because if you are able to invent your own example, that means that you have understood the topic. Here we have some examples and you have to identify. We have a family is forced to live in silence, a quiet place, and when the storm started. You decide which one is a phrase, which one a clause, and which one a sentence. Now we have some writing. So phrases, clauses, and sentences are going to be in a text. In a post-apocalyptic world, a family is forced to live in silence while hiding from monsters with ultra-sensitive hearing. We can see the results. Now, a family is forced to live in silence is a sentence. A quiet place, a phrase. When the storm started, a clause. Now, in a post-apocalyptic world, a family is forced to live in silence while hiding from monsters with ultra-sensitive hearing, or ultra, it's the American or British pronunciation. This is a complex sentence formed by an independent clause and a dependent clause. Now we're going to see that. In a post-apocalyptic world is an adverbial phrase in function and a prepositional phrase in a structure because it starts, yes, with a preposition in. A family is forced to live in silence is a simple sentence. One independent clause. It can stand alone because it gives complete thought. While hiding from monsters with ultra-sensitive hearing, that is a subordinate clause, a dependent clause, and it is an adverbial clause. Yes, at the same time, an adverbial clause of time. Yes, and in this case, with ultra-sensitive hearing is an adjectival phrase. Why? Because it gives information about the monsters. A characteristic of the monsters. It is an adjectival phrase in function and a prepositional phrase in structure. Why? Because it starts with the preposition with. Well, I hope, yes, this tutorial class is helpful for this unit and the topics to come. Remember, there is a quiz which is an obligatory assignment. Good luck and thanks for your attention.